Okay, there I am. There I am. I hope that folks saw my message, and here I am on, what do you call it? On TikTok instead of YouTube. TikTok was acting wonky, or YouTube was acting wonky, and I tried Judy Dukes. I don't know if you can tell the rest of the people that were over on YouTube. Um, I had tried to sign, I thought I was there, but nobody else could interact. It was very strange. Laura Voorhees and Leslie and Cat Mama and people, and maybe this is the thing. Awesome. Good, Judy. Thank you for seeing the message. And you know what? I was thinking about this too. I may actually start to show up more on TikTok. Now it's a new month because it hasn't gone away. So maybe this is just the universe being like, just show up on YouTube. And I did. There we go. Kim Christensen, Thankful Thursday. I love it. Wacky Wednesday, Thankful Thursday. Freaky Friday. Penny Myers, yay! You're out in the weeding in the garden, right? Because I could see you. It was almost like one of those movies where I was a ghost, like I could see you, but you couldn't see me type of thing. Farm Girl, good morning. Usually 1963, yay. So, this is going to be, just to set expectations, this is going to be an extended play, as they would say back in the day, of me being on TikTok, because I actually had a YouTube video, a YouTube live that I was going to do. And YouTube technology, I don't know what the heck was going on. There we go. Boston Sports Girl, yeah, I'm glad you found me because I was supposed to be on YouTube. And I went on YouTube and it would not allow me to go live. It kept on saying pending and pending and pending. Yes, Cat Mama, and actually, thank you. This was a crazy thing. You couldn't see that I could see your comments. So I was saying, hey, if anybody else can't see me, can you let me know? And nobody else could. So regardless, hopefully everybody else finds me here. But I initially today was going to do a YouTube live and a TikTok live. Now we got, boom, double TikTok lives. Yes, Gigi Gina, there were technical difficulties. And it was not of my doing, or if it was, there was nothing I could do about it. What I'm also going to do is, so hopefully people will look. And I did realize that there are still plenty of people here on TikTok to find me. And thank you, Boston Sports Girl, for sharing the live. I appreciate that. What I'm going to do is I'm right now updating the secret page. Okay? And I'm going to say, because YouTube was not working. There we go. So if anybody is like, wait, was it me? I thought she was going to be on the thing. We got it there. So there we go. Hey, Jim. Jim, nice to see you. Oceanana's husband. I love it. I hope the weather's nice up there in New Hampshire. It's not even June and things are busting out all over down here. I was in, as many as you know, I was in California, Palm Springs. So I was in the desert, basically. A tropical desert, do not get me wrong. But man, has it been great to come back to the eastern part of the U.S. and see the leaves on the trees and the buds are bursting on the stuff. The only thing I'm not too psyched about is, what do you call it? Pollen. Pollen is all over everything. Our black car looks green, doesn't look black at all. But good morning, yay. Okay, so maybe this was the universe saying, start doing more TikTok lives again in May. You asked for it, you got it, Toyota. Okay, so here I am. I will be here doing this YouTube live, TikTok live rather, and then I will do another one from 10 a.m. to 11 when I had scheduled that. So I tell you when I'm going to be here so that you could, what do I want to say? You can plan your time accordingly. Now, for the people who thought I was going to be on YouTube, you're right. I was supposed to be on YouTube, but YouTube was having technical difficulties, and I was live according to me, but not according to thee. So, yay, we're here now. Hopefully other people will find us, other folks who are tuning into YouTube. I did just update the secret page, and I will also go back today when I'm doing stuff and what do you call it? I will add more TikTok lives to the schedule. How's that? So yeah, I'm glad you checked in here too. I put a message on the video I was doing, and I said, "Hey, I'm going over here." So you know what? Hopefully people will find. I don't want to leave people in the lurch. But anyhow, hello. So many of you know me as Beth from Destination Decluttered. I am a decluttering life coach, and what I want to offer is, for those who don't know me, hey, my name is Beth. I am a decluttering life coach, and my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. Awesome, Judy, for adding a message too. Very cool. So why am I here on TikTok? I am here on TikTok, on the internet, on YouTube. I don't do Facebook and Instagram anymore. I'm here to help you. Yes, Laura Gibbons Voorhees. Yeah, I feel like all the people that were waiting for me, that I could see, that you couldn't see me. So yay, the people are here. And I am here for you. Seriously, not for myself. If it weren't for you, I'd be in bed scrolling, catching up on Downton Abbey and like the Gilded Age on TikTok. But I show up because I seriously want to help you get out of your funk and overwhelm with clutter. I'm wicked good at this. I've been doing it for years, and I make it fun, and I have some fun. Okay, good. I have some fun, and we help get it done. Kristen's doing it right now. So here's what I want to start with. First of all, you can do this. There are many things. There are a number of things on the planet that are not going to be as easy as decluttering, but decluttering, here we are. Okay? If you don't know how to declutter, if what you know how to declutter has only gotten you to where you are right now, and maybe you know how to clutter better than you do decluttering, I can help you with that. I am good at this, and yeah, I'm a decluttering life coach, and let's just get into it. So this is what I like to say to you. Yeah, actually, that'd be interesting. CJ, you could Google that. I don't know what'll come up. It's a title I created for myself because I realized I didn't want to let people know. I didn't want people to think that I was here going to show you how to, fold a fitted sheet, because I don't know how to do that. It's comical when I say a lot of things are comical, but my husband and I, it's pretty much a comedy routine when we're doing the laundry. We always think we're starting folding the fitted sheet, and then we roll it in a ball. But then I bought some of those boxes that you can put your sheets in. Okay. And Kristen is asking, why not just call yourself a professional organizer? Because that title, frankly, bores me to tears. I'm a casual. I know what I'm doing, but professional makes me feel like I'd have to be uptight and serious. Now, I can be deathly serious about a lot of things, but I want to have some fun. Also, there is a difference between organizing and decluttering. There is. Decluttering is decision making. Decluttering tends to be the thing that jams people up so they can't even organize. A professional organizer also implies to me that I would go into your house and do it for you. No, I have done that in my past, and it has been short-term helpful for people. But the thing that I find more interesting, more life-changing, more fascinating, and more satisfying for both parties is teaching somebody the skill of decluttering. Because when you teach somebody how to declutter, and especially where decluttering, as I like to say, is decision making, decluttering, decision making, I have shared with them skills that they are learning that then they will have for the rest of their lives. And to me, the skill of decluttering is a life skill. And it is something that you can use outside of your home. You really, truly, can use the skills that I teach you for your life. And basically the premise is discovering what you want and what you don't want, eliminating what you don't want or reducing what you don't want, and increasing what you do want. And for those of us who have clutter, many times for a number of years or decades, and I speak for myself a lot in this, because I grew up in a cluttered household. I grew up not knowing how to declutter. I still, even when I knew the skills of making things look good, a la a professional organizer, I could do that for other people, but I couldn't do it for myself. It is different now that I have walked the walk and talked the talk. And what I will offer to you is decluttering is a life skill. And if you didn't learn it yet in your life, that's okay. You're not dead yet. This is another reason why I am not a professional organizer. I'd have to wear a blazer and a skirt, and I hate that. Meh. No. I like to break out into song. I like to, just a few moments ago, I was referring to, Monty Python. I like to be casual like a friend and have fun. All right, so Iggy says, I can't even go on vacation. I declutter and clean every day and get nowhere. Okay. So let me help you with that. Cleaning and decluttering are two different things. Cleaning is literally getting the dust or the grime or the whatever off of a surface. But you can clean and still be wicked cluttered. I love it, Scoops. Scoops, nice to see you. And and I do one-on-one coaching too. I didn't even tell people that because I don't have any spaces on my consultation calendar right now. But yes, I have one-on-one clients. And Judy, Scoops is one of my clients. Judy is one of the people that hangs out with me. And he says, you do make it fun. Let's have some fun and get some good stuff done. I also will occasionally drop, an F-bomb or something. So just be mindful. Avert the gaze. So this is the interesting thing. So Ignatius is saying, and I'm just using that elaborately, is saying, I get nowhere. You declutter, and I love the fact that you use like the air quotes, because then you're not really decluttering. And get nowhere. So decluttering, let me make it wicked simple, okay? And decluttering to me is a two-step process, really. It's not only decreasing the amount of items that have accumulated. Like pretend this is a big pile of items in your home. It's not only just decreasing the number of items in your home. That is part of it, but that tends to be where we all think, oh, I'm going to declutter this weekend, and get rid of all that stuff, and then I'm done. No. There's no kind of one and done for decluttering. And I like to say that right off the bat so you're not thinking there is and then you're disappointed. What there is yes, totally decreasing the amount of items in your home. Faux show. That is part of it, but it's only part of it. The other part of it is changing your habits. Changing your habits so you don't reclutter again. Remember, Declutter 2, the revenge of the clutter, when you thought you were done and then it just piled up again because you have habits of cluttering. You have habits, and this is where it kind of gets life coachy, but I think this is valuable. And this is why I don't just stay on the surface of cleaning and folding and like items to get, and color coordinating stuff. Anybody can do that. That would bore me. I like to go a level deeper. And Thea Soul is saying, why do I keep lotions and oils in my bathroom that I haven't used in years? Damn it, Donna says, I've done this. And Donna says, I always think I'm going to use it, but I never did. So notice, the thoughts in your head are what keep you doing things. The thoughts in your head and the feelings in your body, your nervous system basically, is why you do what you do. That's my basic premise, and I revisit it daily, hourly practically, and it still holds up. It holds up after years of talking about it. Okay? So I noticed that, Thea, notice what you did. You asked me a question. Sometimes I show up as just the conduit for you asking a question. And really what you're doing is on the surface again. On the surface, you're asking me that question, but really the person you should be asking is you. And you did. You asked the questions, why do I do this? I've never met you, so technically I do not know, but you know who knows? You do. And you just started answering your own question. Now, I freaking love this. Because Thea is saying, for those of you who are not watching the comments, that's why I tend to read them, so you can be decluttering and just listening like a podcast. Thea says, most of them are presents from my son. That's probably why I can't get rid of them. Yeah, many of us have a little bit of tension between knowing you don't like something, but then it was a present from somebody, and feeling like you're disappointing that person, feeling like you're being mean to that person who gave it to you, feeling like you're somehow not appreciative of that thing. You know? So notice that. But this is one thing I want to tell you, I want to just share with you. I share a lot, is just because you don't like a gift doesn't mean you don't like the person who gave it to you. The gift is the byproduct. Really, what your son was saying was, Mom, I love you. And in our society, one of the ways we show people our love is to give them a gift. Hey, I got this. I was thinking of you here. It also can be a societal expectation that you give a gift. So you embrace the spirit of the gift. And then this is what usually happens, is things come into our lives, into our homes, in a variety of ways. So you've got lotions and potions and oils and tinctures that have come into your house. And then ostensibly, I would think you've tried them out. So you have said, oh, thank you, I will try this. And ideally, you have tried it. And when you went and tried it, you realized it didn't work for you. Okay? So then when you know, and notice how I said earlier, decluttering is decision making. You decided at that point that, no, I don't like this. It doesn't smell right. It's too slimy. I don't like the color. Whatever it was about it, you tried it and you said, this is not for me. But there are thoughts and feelings. As I like to say, your head and your heart really work in together to make it easy for you to move things with your hands. So you have some thoughts in your head that give you feelings in your nervous system that either have you hanging on to things like oils and lotions or letting go of things. And so just even noticing that might help you even just take one lotion that you no longer use and throw it in the trash. If it's open and if it's been there for years, it may also have kind of broken down chemically. The other thing, though, and I like to bring this up right away, though, is money. Our thoughts and feelings about money do a lot with us, what we keep and what we let go of. Even if it's something that doesn't work, if you're in scarcity mode, like user 1963 says, I find it harder to get rid of things when my finances have tanked. Right now, it's rock bottom. Yeah, for you and me and a lot of us. Our finances have been adversely affected by what's going on politically in the United States. Yeah, hearkening back to the Great Depression of the 1920s and 30s, that people who raised many people of our generation or our parents were affected by that kind of scarcity mentality. So you can imagine that there's a really primal part of your brain, the scared part of your brain. I call it your backseat driver, because I like to talk about, not only, if you can see behind my big old head here, but like this kind of metaphor, this picture of like a road trip. You are here at the beginning of a road trip, and that's you in the car, and you're chugging along. You're going somewhere. So your backseat driver tends to be fear. What if I can't get any lotions again? I guess I could use that crappy lotion if they stop importing lotion from China because I can't afford it. So I say this to you in response to what people have given in the comments, and I like having this interaction. I have thought for years of doing like I've said, maybe I'll do like a podcast, and I prefer the interaction because I could sit here talking to the air, but I don't know if I'm really hitting home what's working for you. So I think what I say is, even if you haven't posted a comment here, just even thinking of what do you think about something. When you look at an item, it tells you a story. I look at that thing of lotion and, my son gave that to me. If my son hadn't given it to me, if I had bought it for myself, I would just throw it away. even though I might be like, that's not good, you should use it up because I'm thrifty and I don't want to, it can take a while to overcome thriftiness. And I'm not saying to be wasteful, but when you're not using something and all it does is sit there, it's a waste anyway. Okay? Now, Jim Girl says, I moved and have a basement full of boxes, don't know what to do with them and have empty shelves. Now, I love this. I love this, Jim Girl, and I frankly love the fact that you have moved and you haven't just blindly unpacked everything from the last place you lived. Okay? So, this is what I will offer to you. The things that you use on a daily basis, I'm thinking you have unpacked. Your toothbrush, your underpants, your clothing, the things that you need for this season of your life and the year. I don't know where you live, but I live in Pennsylvania and we have 4 seasons here. So you have probably unboxed enough to get you through whatever's going on. I think that's really cool because you know what? Notice the stuff you have yet to unpack. Notice the things you can live without. Now, do not fear. Underdog is here, and look at my background. My background is here because this is my office and this is my stuff. But I share that with you because I am not going to scare you into being a minimalist. No. And what I want to offer to you is not unboxing something is a powerful message of I don't need this to live. I do not need this or want it. If there's something you really want to wear, you're going to open up all your boxes and look for that favorite sweatshirt. I really want it. So allow yourself the opportunity to not just recreate your past home in just a different, 4 walls and a roof, but really use this wonderful opportunity of a fresh new start to create what I like to call your Barbie dream house. Does anybody remember the Barbie dream house that, probably all of us wanted for Christmas in the 70s? Maybe some of you youngsters in the 80s. Bring things into your current living space that help make life easier. Okay? Now, this could be it gets warmer out and suddenly you need your summer clothes. Now, user 1836 says, I need to declutter my clothes. My head spins when I try. Now, notice your head spinning is your physical self. I would like to think you're not like Linda Blair, in The Exorcist, but that feeling in your body of my head spins. This is why when we're talking in coaching, we always talk about how are you feeling physically? Help yourself feel better. And how do you feel? I say energetically. So that could be mentally, but really nervous system-y. So you feel like your head is spinning when you try to declutter your clothes. You feel overwhelm. Overwhelm is a feeling. Overwhelm is, oh my God, there's too much, I can't even, right? So when you have those feelings, when you notice them, that's really good that you noticed them, because when you notice that you're feeling that way, that's probably not the best kind of, as they say, like frame of mind to be in when you're making decisions about stuff. So I would say, if you notice that you become overwhelmed when you try to declutter, don't try to declutter first. Learn how to, I would say, overcome the overwhelm, but learn some skills, which I will teach you in a smidge. Okay, I will teach you this in a smidge. Learn to deal with the overwhelm first, and not just deal with it, but calm it down. Take the overwhelm and put it down. Now, I like to call this, and because I coach and I do TikTok lives pretty much every day and YouTube lives every day, I talk about this stuff a wicked lot, and I like to make things so easy to understand. And also, you can obviously tell I'm from Boston because I say wicked lot, a wicked lot. I like to make things wicked simple, okay? So what I like to call this portion of the show is when you're feeling like overwhelmed, and I'll just use overwhelm as kind of the blanket feeling of why you're not decluttering or doing anything, using all the downs, okay? Okay, so all the downs. What are all the downs, you say? Write it down. This is going to be quieting down the voices in your head. Shh, simmer down now. Simmer down. quiet down, slowing down, heck, even sitting down. Breathing down is probably the very first one. You know, when people like hyperventilate, they're not getting any oxygen to their system, and then you get your whole body gets panicky because it's afraid it's going to suffocate. So slowing down, sitting down, and breathing. Slowing down your breathing. This is why I call it all the downs. Breathing down into the bottom of your lungs. Slowing down your exhale. Putting your shoulders down if you're overwhelmed. Loosening up I said loosening up, I guess shake your body down to the ground, as Michael Jackson would say. Quieting down your environment. Shut the door, shut the windows, quiet down the people around you. And repeat all these downs. Another couple of downs that come slightly later when you're feeling better physically and nervous system-y, all the downs would be writing it down and chunking it down. Okay? So, did I miss any downs? Any other downs that you can add to the list? Put them in the comments. Experiment with this while I'm talking to your phone. Nobody sees you. You get your shoulders up here. My God, there's a picture of me from our wedding where I was so cold and I went this. I wish somebody had said, shoulders down. Oh, that's right. Sometimes we forget this stuff. So it's good to remember. And here's a wicked funny thing. So I made this mug for myself, and no, I'm not transitioning into an infomercial because I don't sell the mugs. But the one that my husband just brought my tea in, it's probably backwards, but it says slow down. Slow down. See, I forgot that one. Slow down. Breathe down. Write down, chunk down. I couldn't leave them all on my thing, but that reminds me to do it. And I love it. Cherry Hooper reminds calming down. That's a good one. Blonde Cheryl. Sherry says, don't put yourself down. No, we're raising you up on eagle's wings. We're going to raise you up by calming you down. Notice when you feel better physically and you feel better energetically, nervous system-y, as I like to say, from the skin within. Before we even deal with one piece of clutter outside of your skin, how are you feeling as a human? And if you're not, Declarer says turn off the lights in the overhead lights, turn down the lights. Dim all the lights, sweet darling, 'cause tonight it's all away. Somebody just said Donna Summer, right? Dim all the lights. Calm down, quiet down, slow down. Calm down the little freaking out kid in your back seat. Shh, it's okay, we're fine. It's okay, we're going to be fine. You can do this, okay? So don't even try to do something until you've checked in with your physical health and your energetic nervous system health. And if you're not feeling okay, I'm not saying you have to feel wonderful, like springing out of bed. No. If you're feeling okay, okay is good enough. From okay to better is a fine thing. Ooh, that's a good one. Penny Meyer says, let your guard down. Now that may take a while, but notice feeling safe means that you have a guard and you're saying, no guard, it's okay, that person is safe. So yeah, that may take a bit, but that's a really good one, Penny Myers. Thank you. I've never thought of that one, but very good insight. Yeah, you're guarding against your fear. So it's okay. There's nothing to be afraid of here. You can do this. And this is where I like to say to you, decluttering is a skill. If you haven't learned it yet, no big whoop. I can teach you. I can teach you the practical natures of decluttering. It's just like, and this is great that I see my little orange car right here, kind of above my head. It's just like driving a car. All right? Yeah, I swear we were twins separated birth. Might be a surprise to both of our mothers, huh? It's just like driving a car. It is something you didn't know when you were growing up. And if you were lucky, somebody taught you how to do it, and they were a good teacher. And then you learned it and you didn't give up and you practiced and you got better. And now you drive a car, boom. Pretty much for the most part, a lot of it is habitual. You do need to be aware, but a lot of it is kind of rote memory. Okay? Decluttering is just like that. And so when you hear me talking about decluttering and, and road tripping, driving, traveling, because I do a wicked lot of traveling, I use not euphemisms, metaphors. I talk about decluttering like so many other things that you probably already do in your life. So there are things you know how to do in your life that you were not born knowing. Somebody taught you what you do now. Some people are not great teachers. Some people did the best they could with what they had, but they were not taught how to declutter. Anybody? Anybody? I know my mother was not really taught the good skills of decluttering. And also we have ADHD in the fam. So if anybody here says that thinks you have ADHD, I gotcha. Right? So I gotcha. It was so funny. One of my one-on-one clients, because I do one-on-one coaching with people over Zoom, I have like a 10-session package that I do. And one of my clients was like, I think I may have ADHD. Do you have any tips for decluttering from ADHD? And I was like, oh, honey bunch. Every single one of my decluttering tips is pretty much run through the ADHD filter. Because anything will work with many things will work with a neurotypical brain. There are fewer things that will work with the ADHD brain. So it's like picking out a bridesmaid's dress for the person who is challenged with their body issues the most. If you pick out a dress that makes for that one, everybody else will work on it. So the stuff that works for ADHD people will also work for neurotypicals, but it's rarely vice versa. Okay? Samantha Gabodin's got it in her fam. Yep. Yeah. And notice Penny Myers is bringing up a really good point too. Yeah. Oh, but this is interesting. My mom and grandma didn't have excess. Yeah. When you don't have excess, you don't have clutter because everything you have, you use. We live in an excessive society. I mean, look at all the freaking out everybody's doing because we can't go out and buy stuff. We live in a capitalist society that encourages us to go buy things, to acquire items to make us feel good. But when you have that concept of the world we currently live in and the mental construct of the fear of scarcity, then you've got tension between abundance and excess and a feeling of scarcity. So you're afraid of letting go of something for fear you won't get it again. That's that total growing up with people born and raised in the Great Depression and then World War II. And then frankly, when things were a lot more expensive. So there wasn't a lot of this mass-produced, imported things that were of low cost so everybody could afford a lot more stuff. There is so many more ways to easily get more stuff in your house now than ever before. So if you think if you've been told by society that it's going to make you feel good, that it's going to heal what your ache inside, to go buy that lipstick or that clothing or that, Ronco slicer and dicer, and you believe in that, and many of us do. We used to think that those things would make us feel better. Now what you're realizing is that doesn't do it. Yeah, and we are constantly bombarded by messages to buy, because we live in a capitalist society. So we're trying to change the things on the big scale, but the best place to start is with yourself. Yeah, so notice that this is a familiar point with people. Now, I just have to look back 1, 2, 2.5 generations to my family to see that I am in a different position monetarily than my great-grandmother and grandparents were. That I have the ability to buy more stuff than they ever did. Because the world has also changed. Because, I am a woman and I can actually make a living and work. All of those things. Yes, and Mama Pepper, I am home, as you can tell from my background. I was in Palm Springs, California for a while. But notice, this goes a lot deeper for each one of us than just, all you need to do is get rid of the stuff you don't need. And then, well, that one statement right there can keep people paralyzed for years. If you don't know how to let go of things that you're holding on to, even if it's something you don't want, you may still be clinging on to unwanted things, unwanted habits, unwanted people. So just notice that. And just ask yourself, calm down yourself, and start to get to know yourself. Why do I do the things I do? You doing that thing you do. Why do you do the things you do? And I don't know, feel free to say that and get it out of the way. But then the next thing, if you did know, what would it be? What are some theories you have about why you do things? Now, I have some theories about why many people do things. But my theories are really based on myself and my clients and the people. Yeah, and Penny's got it. Fear, fear, fear. Fear is a 4-letter word that begins with F. Okay? Yay, the Oneaters. Exactly, Michelle. Fear keeps you hanging on to stuff that you don't want. Fear of if you let it go, then you'll have nothing. Right. Fear of judgment, fear of lack. Now, I know that feeling like nobody's business. I was brought up a scaredy cat. I might be wired that way anyway, because that kind of runs in my family. You know? Oops, pardon me. I just dropped my tea. I'm a hot mess here. Well, a lukewarm mess because my tea is kind of hot. And also I'm looking 9:48. Okay, so the good news is I'm going to be on TikTok here for quite a while because I was supposed to be on YouTube, and then I was going to do my TikTok live at 10 a.m. Eastern until 11, so I'm going to be on here for a while. I just want to do that. Fear, frugality, future potential, and sentimental baggage. Okay, there's a lot of that, but notice each one of those may have a different route to getting to letting go of stuff. But here, before we start to talk about fear all the time, I want to introduce the antidote to fear, the opposite of fear. And I love it, Okie Teacher. Nice to see you. Tell your mom I said hi. And what I want to offer is the opposite of fear is love. Love. Love, love, love. Big Beatles fan here. Okie Teacher says, I had a friend that needed a small refrigerator. I had one that I had not used in over a year, and I gave my fridge to her. And it was the best feeling to help her out. So notice the difference. Notice the difference. Fear has you hanging on to stuff. Love makes it easier for you to let go of something you have, yes. It's useful, yes, but you're not using it. But when you have the opportunity to share your abundance with somebody else, man, a rising tide floats all boats. You now no longer have a fridge you don't use, and somebody else who needed a fridge now has one. Win-win situation. She says it's the best feeling. So this is what we go for here in Destination Decluttered Land. In my world, that's what we're aiming for. We are aiming for, and I guess that's the destination here on the is you feeling better, feeling like you can release things that you aren't using, and doing it in a way that feels good to you. And I love it. Penny Luckmeyer thanks goodness I'm not afeared of learning. Yeah. If you're afraid of even knowing what's going on underneath the hood of your own car, it's going to be a lot more difficult to diagnose what's up and fix it. And I say fix it because I'm using like the car metaphor. You are not broken. You do not need fixing, okay? You are a human being on the planet with a skill set, and one of your skills that you may not have yet or isn't working for you, isn't giving you the result you want, is the skill of decluttering. So it's a skill that can be taught. I teach it all the time. I've done it for years now. And so you are not broken. You just need to learn something. And if the way I teach seems to be fun and easy for you, yay, because it's fun and easy for me. So it makes me show up better. If I was a professional organizer and I showed up in my blazer and my little ribbon tie, remember back in the day when the professional ladies, they weren't wearing ties, but a little piece of ribbon, right? And nah, Jane. Never wanted to be that kind of professional. No, I've always resisted that. I'm a Gen Xer. I'm a loner, Dottie. I'm a rebel. Okay? So notice fear will have you hanging on. Set me free, why don't you, babe? You keep me hanging on. I got to look at the lyrics of that song a little bit better. You can let it go. Let it go. Right. And noticing where you came from gives you a better understanding of why you are where you are now. But this is the great thing about coaching that I love, is we don't always look in the rear view mirror, right? We look ahead through the windshield, people. We say, okay, that's where I came from, but here I am now in the driver's seat, and where do I want to go? And yeah, I know where I came from, so I know what my roadblocks are going to be. But when I know where my roadblocks are going to be, and they're going to come up, and they will come up, I know how to handle them because I've done it before in the past, or I've learned now how to do it. Now, Irma mentions we had very little of everything growing up, especially food. Yeah, I do not underestimate where people came from. So the fear of literally your human body not surviving can get you into hoarding, acquiring, saving mode. And especially saving it for a rainy day. And I mean, I've seen people right now saying that what's going on politically right now is going to be, as that verb was, triggering a lot of this hoarding mentality of, what if the shelves are empty? What if things are so expensive and I cannot afford things, right? So, no lie. We are living through history right now, much like people in the 20s and 30s and during wars and also during COVID. We've lived through some of this stuff before. What I want to offer to you now is this, though. Sometimes we get fearful and we save items, but we save too much stuff. Okay? And what do I mean by too much is, okay, so like Wonderlust Girl is going to Costco now. I wish you weren't going to Costco now, because I would just say, not go to Costco. What I would say is, before you go to Costco, so everybody here, you and you and you and you and you, before you go to the grocery store, wherever you go to buy your food, shop in your pantry first. And if you think of your pantry as your local grocery store. And what I just want you to do is become aware. Become aware of what you're hanging on to that has already expired. Take inventory of what you have before you just blindly go out and buy some new stuff. Make sure that everything in your pantry has got an expiration date of 6 months or more. Okay? Take stock. Be a stock person. Rotate for freshness. Notice what you have that you bought a while ago that you haven't eaten yet. Maybe when you go out to the grocery store today, you buy some extra ingredients so you use those chickpeas. Okay? So decluttering is not just blindly getting rid of things. I don't want to trigger your nervous system by even suggesting that. I want to meet it head on and calm down that fear. A lot of decluttering is simply taking stock of what you have, noticing your abundance all over the place. The abundance of socks you have, the abundance you have in that top shelf in the kitchen that you have to get on a chair to look up to there. Oh my goodness, I didn't realize how many cans of tuna fish we have there. And then being able to either use your abundance before it expires, or if you know that you don't want to eat that much tuna, you thought it was on sale and you're going to use it, but man, I'm sick of tuna. Sharing your abundance with people who are not as lucky as you to have abundance. And notice that there is a difference between thinking that somebody is taking something away from you and when you know that you're going to be okay with what you have and you have a surplus, that you're a good neighbor. That you're like, hey, you have no tuna and I've got 2 cans here. I'll eat a can of tuna, you have a can of tuna. What kind of human on the planet do you want to be? Do you want to be greedy and unhappy? Like many of the men in power right now, and women. But I'm thinking of Trump and I'm thinking of Elon Musk. And I say this blatantly right away because they have, and Jeff Bezos, more money than 99% of the planet, and they're still so unhappy, yet they're still trying to acquire. They don't get it. They don't get it. They will never become happy doing that. And we see that on a massive scale. That they're spending all this money and they are still unhappy people. So I say, let's scale it down to ourselves. The abundance that we thought was going to make us happy ain't making us happy. So I'm not saying you need to give away everything. No. What we have is we've got too much, we've got abundance, we've got lack down here, and then, just like Goldilocks, you've got your just right point. Your just right point. A temperature that you're comfortable at, an amount of food in your belly, the amount of stuff in your home, the amount of clothes you have a just right point. What we do in decluttering is we notice the abundance and it doesn't make us feel good. It's like eating too much bacon. You thought it was going to be a good idea, but it's not a good idea. So what you do is you just notice what feels like too much, and slowly and organically and incrementally at a pace that feels good to you, learning how to reduce that number. And it's cyclical. It's kind of weeding your garden, and then you weed it again, and you enjoy it, and then you weed it a little bit more until it starts to feel good for you. And this is why I say decluttering is a two-step process. It's like a two-step. Is, yes, getting rid of the items, but, and I want to mention this because Pamela had a thing about her nightstand, is not just getting rid of stuff, but learning to live feeling good about what you have. Feeling good about how you take care of your stuff, how your home looks, how it functions, and how it feels, how you feel in your home. So Pamela is offering, I can't seem to tackle my nightstand. Tackle. Notice, this is one of the things I do too. I feel like I'm just kind of introducing myself to a lot of new people. And since it's almost 10 o'clock in the morning, I just want to say, because I used to work in college radio, it's almost top of the hour, so why not reintroduce myself? Hey, my name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach. Yes, I made that up for myself, but it fits, so I wear it. And my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. The reason it's called Destination Decluttered is, man, when I started, I said this stuff to myself one day to say, I can plan a kick-ass road trip like nobody's business. If I could only plan my life like a road trip, I would be so happy. And then my co-pilot, I had a voice inside me that says, why can't you? What would you do? How would you change? What would you do differently in your life if you were planning it like a road trip? And immediately my thing was destination. You can't plan a road trip without knowing where you're going. What was I doing in my life? I had no idea where I wanted to go to. Actually, I did know, but I was afraid to even try it. Notice fear. But I digress. Destination Decluttered. I also do a wicked lot of traveling. I also have written books right here. I've got more of them. I've written books about road tripping, so it's one of my love languages, okay? So what I want to offer to you is decluttering is deciding what you want and letting it go, and Pamela, this is where it comes for you, and noticing the habits that got you cluttered and kept you there, and then changing your habits so that you become a less cluttered person. And one of the ways we do this is noticing our habits and noticing our words. So I was saying tackling my nightstand. We always feel like we have to tackle clutter, like we're fighting it. I say, I don't like to fight. I say get curious. Don't go and fight it. Just get curious. It's a catch-all. I clean it, and then it goes back to a mess. As if you like have weeded it, and then all by itself, the stuff grows up again. Nah, Jan, nah. Not to point fingers, but I'm pointing a tiny little finger of love. Pamela, the call is coming from within the house. It's you, and that's okay because you can do something different. It's a catch-all. So notice the next time you look at your bedside table, your nightstand. Just don't judge. Judgment is on the side of fear. Curiosity is on the side of love, and I am all about curiosity and love and fun and all the good stuff. So this is where we're hanging out. Next time, everybody, next time you look at your nightstand, just get curious. What is on that nightstand? How did it get there? Do I like what's on there? If I don't like it, what isn't there that I don't like, and where could I put it? So for example, I can picture my nightstand next to the bed because I have very few things. Okay, I can pretty much guarantee that on mine, I have a bookmark. I have my wedding rings that I forgot to put on before I got out of bed, got out of bed. I've got a book about the Beatles that I'm almost done reading. And I've got like a little zipper pouch that has like some Kleenexes in it and like chapstick. And I think that's about it because it's a very small thing. Now, this morning, as I woke up, when I went to reach for my phone to see what time it was, I noticed that there were a couple of Kleenexes there because I had obviously blown my nose through the night. And frankly, this is going to gross out some people, including my husband and including me. There was a Q-tip there because I get wicked itchy ears. And sorry, I may go deaf earlier than later, but I use Q-tips in my ears to stop the itch. And so they were there. Now, I didn't like that. So immediately I took that, the stuff I didn't want, and I threw it in the trash. Now, tonight, might there be another Q-tip and another Kleenex? Yeah. So I'll do it again. I won't let it pile up. I won't judge myself. I'll just be like, that's gross. I'm putting it in the trash. Okay? So I offer this to you all. Instead of judging yourself and beating yourself up, we do not do that here. We actually we teach you not to beat yourself up. Okay? Put down your hands and get curious. Put them up. I don't know, but I want to find out. Let me get curious. What's there and how did it get there? And if it was me, don't judge yourself. Just say, okay, what can I do differently the next time? Okay? Now, I love this. Oceanana, and hopefully you and Jim are like chatting. You're both right there. Wicked funny. Oceanana says, I have 9 items listed on Marketplace. Awesome. You are doing so good, my dear. We coached together. Louise and I did, because I coach people over Zoom. And I love it. Fills my spirit to the brim with brim. Fill it to the rim with brim, right? It fills me up like nothing to realize that this is the thing I love about coaching. It doesn't just last during the sessions that you work together. No, if I've done my job correctly, and I really strive to do that with everybody, you will learn things that will last you. You will learn skills that you can continue to use for the rest of your life. And I have seen it because Oceanana Louise has shown up, and I get the regular people checking in the comments section. We have like a little community of which you're all invited to attend as long as you're nice people and you're not jerks. I have no tolerance for jerks. But we collect a lot of nice people here, and people are getting to know each other through the comments. And I love it that Louise and I stopped coaching, I don't know, earlier this year, December, I can't remember. But she's now listing stuff on Marketplace. Her kitchen table is less cluttered than it was. She has more space in her kitchen to make delicious foods from those recipes that she's saved, and sharing those foods with her grandkids and her husband and people, because that's her love language. Now, have I ever been to Louise's house? No. But we talk about these things, and she's continuing to use those things. So she says, I have 9 items listed on Marketplace, and if they are not gone by next week, I will donate them. So notice, you're giving yourself the opportunity to make money from them, but if that doesn't happen within a certain time frame, you're going to be happy to let it go. You gave it a shot. So there we go. You know? I love it. Okay. So Pamela knows that decluttering can make you feel good, right? Now, here's a fun thing. Some people are just tuning in since it's 10 o'clock, and this is when I told. So I have a mailing list too. Just really quickly, I have a mailing list. I'm going to be sending out an email today. So if you want to hop on it, I've got a good email. It's short, it's sweet. I don't like to send wicked long emails. I'm more of like a very efficient New Englander. It's like, here's the good stuff. This will help you. Now it's up to you. Doing a TikTok live. So if you're interested in knowing when I do TikTok lives, and I will be adding more because of the instability of the YouTube system this morning, I hopped on YouTube. I hopped on TikTok earlier than expected, but I will be here for the next 54 minutes, okay, on TikTok. If you want to know the next time I'm going to be on TikTok and YouTube, I publish a schedule. I call it the TV guide because it's just like looking for when your show is on and planning to tune in when that happens. Now, I publish this, but only for the people who like what I do enough to sign up for a free email mailing list. So it's not like I ask you for money or anything, but if you're interested in what I'm doing, I don't want to just have it out there for anybody. I just want to make sure that I'm sending it to the right people. So if you want to know, and this is another thing too, if you want to know, hold on, gotta focus. If you want to know when I do TikTok lives and YouTube lives, sign up for the mailing list. My website is destinationdecluttered.com, and you scroll down to the bottom of the page, and there's a place you can put your email address in, and then you just say, I promise I'm not a robot. Boom, you're done. Okay? I will be sending out an email today, probably around 12, 1, 2, something like that, because I do decluttering parties, 2 of which are coming up this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. 2 more. We've got 4 of them this month, maybe more. And then also, this is what got me distracted too, is another thing, and today's the perfect day, and I'm going to do this myself, is you also have access to download and print your pavers and potholes monthly habit tracker. I'm clicking on that myself right now because today is May 1st, and I am going to print out my new habit tracker. Keeping track of your habits, noticing the habits you have, and noticing the habits that would make you feel better. Okay? So can you hear that? It's my printer. I'm printing out a new one for this month. You can do that too, a free habit tracker. Okay? All the things. So Pamela is seeing the benefits, knows that there will be a benefit not just in how things look, because that's organizing, but in how things function. Oh, hold on. Boom. New habit tracker. Yay! I'll fill it out later. We can maybe even do it together tomorrow or something like that. Okay? But notice that decluttering isn't just making things look better on the surface. Yes, that's part of it, but then you go a layer deeper. And with me, there's 3 layers. Surface is looking good to you. Then the next layer down is, does your home function well for you? And what I mean by that is, can you easily find what you need? Can you easily use it? And can you easily put it back where it belongs? So notice, what do you need on your nightstand to make it easy for you to be in bed? I mentioned a couple of things on mine. You've got a different thing for yours. Oh yeah, like hand cream and stuff, chapstick, things like that. Maybe a face mask, like a, room darkening face mask. So notice, how can I easily reach those things? How can I have it so it looks good and those things are there? And when those 2 things are accomplished, kind of like when we were talking about the thoughts in your head and the feelings in your heart equal what you do with your hands, when these 2 things are working together, when it looks good and it functions well, I bet your sweet Bippy, you're going to feel good when you're in your house. You're going to feel better looking at your thing. Okay. Hold on. TikTok is making me say, which of these objects provides shade? Okay, I think those are trees. There we go. It's because I've gone over an hour. All right? But this is the thing that we're aiming for, is you not only feeling good in your home, but you feeling good about yourself, being able to keep it that way. You feeling good about the skills you have so that you don't have to be afraid of cluttering again, or afraid of when clutter will eventually accumulate, because it does on a daily basis in your house, and not being afraid of not knowing how to declutter, So just notice this. Okay, this is why I'm here. All right, there we go. Oh, that's so nice, Irma. Yeah, Irma says, I have been doing this for a few years now, and it feels so freeing, and you are awesome at what you do. I've been inspired so much by your words. Well, thank you. That's really nice. I appreciate that. Strength and Peace is asking me, sorry, I had to scroll. I'm now catching up on some of the comments. What is the name of the book about the Beatles? It's kind of the story behind how each one of the songs was written. And I don't remember pretty much a damn story about it, but it's interesting because I'm married to a songwriter. My husband's a musician. And so it's just interesting to hear the stories of how some of the iconic songs came to be. I don't know. All you need, I'd have to Google it. Yeah. Now, Nancy is saying, need help bad with clutter. Too much stuff, but not a hoarder. Just need some decluttering. Awesome. Go for it. Now I say this as a sassy pants, but here's the deal. If you just need some decluttering, do the decluttering. Everybody, do the decluttering you know how to do, because you do know how to do some of it. But then notice where there's a roadblock and you're not moving forward. What is the roadblock for you? Is it your clothing? Is it the kitchen? Like, where do you stop? There is a point in decluttering that you never get to where you want to be because there's a block in the road that you're allowing it to stop your car. Okay? Now, Blood Type Reset says, so what's your take on making the bed every day? I think it looks better. I have a very generous definition of what a made bed looks like. It is not hospital corners and tucked in wicked tight. It's pretty much, that the sheets are covered and the blanket. It looks good when I walk by, and it looks good. If the covers are flipped down and stuff like that. And the great thing is I pretty much always get out of bed before my husband. So it's kind of his task to make sure the bed looks good. So I don't mind it. And I prefer it looking better, but I keep the process of making the bed so simple that it takes very little time and effort to get to where I feel good about it. Okay? Now, Terry brings up a good thing. Beth heads, I love it. I'm sad I'm late. No, you're not. Honey Bunch, you've got like 45 minutes for me. What I want to offer is, if you're not a hoarder, and even if you were, that's okay. We don't judge. We get curious here. No judgment here. Except if you're a hater and a mean person, and I boot you out immediately without even getting involved. But that rarely happens here. When it happens, I will take care of it. You don't have to fear that. I will totally protect my flock from the jerks. But in the meantime, it would be okay if you're a hoarder, because hoarding comes from a lot of decluttering. A lot of cluttering is where it's like hoarding is just cluttering magnified, is having a thought of why you're hanging on to something, and it's almost like cancer. It just spreads rapidly. Okay? So Terry Boyd says, I am not a hoarder, but I am very sentimental. So wonderful. So am I. So am I. But I want to offer to you that not all clutter is sentimental. So here, I like to think of things in 3 kind of layers. It just works for me. And because I grew up on Schoolhouse Rock, I know that 3 is a magic number. Yes, it is. It's a magic number. So the 3 layers of clutter, in order from easiest to less easy, but still doable. Surface clutter. Clutter on the surface. Cleaning on the surface. Surface clutter. Then, because I like also things when things have what I've learned is an alliteration, where things begin with the same letter. Surface clutter. The next layer down is stored clutter. So it's not on the surface, but it might be in a drawer or behind a door of like a cabinet or a room or a closet or a bureau drawer or like your kitchen drawers. So think of it: stored, doors, and drawers. So surface clutter, stored clutter, and then the one that causes you to feel feelings is sentimental. Surface, stored, sentimental. I highly recommend that if you are not a good declutterer, and again, no shade, no shame, that you start with the surface clutter. You start with the surface clutter, because that's like the walking into the gym having not worked out and starting with the somewhat easy stuff. The sentimental clutter, this is where my hand always goes to my heart when I talk about sentimental clutter, because the sentimental stuff is the stuff that tells you stories, and typically stories of people who are no longer here. Either people that are dead or no longer in your life, or previous versions of yourself or your children. Yeah. That's deep, right? That's why we have the surface. We get the shallow end of the pool here, and then we get the deep end where the diving boards are, okay? But learn how to swim in the shallow end so that you feel even better just going one layer deeper, going to where they swim the laps, where your toes are not touching the bottom, but you know you can do this. And then when you learn how to do that, you're building your muscles, you're building your breathing, you're building your skill set. And when you do that, when you get to the deep stuff, you will have skills you can rely on, just like swimming lessons, okay? So that's okay if you're very sentimental. Welcome. There's a place for you here. Okay? Now, I'm backing up here. That's funny. Somebody remembered the TV guide that came with the newspapers. I remember it because I always wanted to watch The Monkees when it was on reruns on Channel 56. And my sisters were of an age where they were watching Sesame Street, and they were on at the same time. And we only had one TV in the house. So we had to switch off. It literally was on the calendar But I digress. Judy is mentioning that the declutter parties are so helpful. So I just want to remind those people who are familiar with the decluttering party that we have 2 of them going on this weekend. I'm going to look at the calendar right now so I'm more confident of what the dates are. So yes, Saturday, May 3rd, which is a day after tomorrow, at 12 noon till about 1:30 Eastern. And then turn the page to Sunday the 4th at 12 noon Eastern to about 1:30 Eastern. What a declutter party is it's kind of like this, but slightly different. There's a paid, modest ticket fee because when you pay for things, you tend to show up versus if something's for free. This is why I charge for my one-on-one coaching. What it does is you get community and camaraderie and problem solving while you're decluttering your own house. So it's about an hour and a half, and we do chunks of decluttering and chunks of figuring out what worked well and celebrating it and getting curious about what didn't work so you can go into the next chunk and do something different. So it's kind of like testing out all these theories that you may be hearing from me when we are doing when I'm just chatting with you, is putting it through its paces, is actually doing something so you begin to embody what it's like to declutter. I have done these for the past 6 months or so. I do them on different days of the week and different times of day, and it varies from month to month because that's what my schedule is. My schedule is not always 5 to 5:30 on Channel 56 Monday through Friday. That again would be professional and boring to me. I like doing things differently. So my TikTok lives and my YouTube lives and my declutter parties are different days of the week. That's why the Destination Decluttered TV guide is so important, so you know when to tune in. If you're interested in the declutter parties, again, that's just something that is offered to the people who are on the mailing list. And the mailing list is a free group of people. And I send out very few emails. So if you're interested in that, sign up for it at destinationdecluttered.com. And I see a few people have already done that. So awesome. Okay. Now, I love it. Blood Type Reset is offering something to Terry to say, can I live without this? And if you're not using it, you're kind of living without it already. All right. So here we go. Okay. Leslie M is saying, I listened to one of your videos yesterday. Oh, thank you for reminding me to just mention this. I listened to one of your videos yesterday about clothes. Someone was talking about being afraid. Any thoughts on clothes? And very nice. Oceanana is saying, all you newcomers, Beth is such an inspiration and a great coach. I love that. Beth has really inspired me to want better for myself, my home, my mindset, and she's amazing. Oh, thank you, hon. That is wicked nice. So I love it. Lorraine is decluttering her husband that's not working out for her. That's great. There we go. Powder Dreamer. We're singing the same songs. Again, Gen X Brain. Ain't nothing wrong with that because we're moving on up to the east side, right? Okay. So there's a few things I want to get to, and this is one of the things that I like to do is get a little bit deeper. I don't want to just float around on the surface. But let me address fear and the fear and loathing or fear and clothing, right? In Las Vegas or in your own closet. That would be a funny podcast episode, but this is fine. I love what I do here. But real quick, the other thing that I want new people to know about is that there are literally hundreds of, I'm looking at it right now. I'm going to go. So I have done TikTok lives for the past 2.5+ years, almost daily. And I have learned very on from somebody who I wish I knew who it was, who said, could you record those and upload them so I can listen to them again? So I said, sure. So right now on YouTube, there are 683 recorded lives and other videos that I have done so that you don't have to be afraid of not catching me right here. Because even this TikTok live, I will download from TikTok and upload to Destination Decluttered on YouTube. So you might want to follow me there. I also do lives there as well when it's not acting up. But let's talk about fear and clothing. Fear and anything is fear that I may need it someday. It could be shame and judgment that I used to fit into that, but I don't fit into it anymore. But I want to, and aspirational, but I want to fit into it someday. So what I offer you is none of those things are wrong. There's nothing wrong here. But what I want you to do is, and this is one of the things that really will help with decluttering, is starting to learn how to think in the mindset of categorization. Categories, right? And I want you to think of that your clothing organically falls into a variety of categories. You have clothing that you currently wear for this season that tends to be either on your body or in your bureau or your closet or in the hamper or on the floor or in the washer or in the dryer or stacked on top of the dryer. It's the stuff that's in circulation. Then we all have clothing that we don't currently wear. Then you get curious about, why do I not wear this? Now, it could be seasonal, or it could be that it's the season of your body and your body has changed during menopause and it's not the same shape that it was back in the day. But you still have a sentimental attachment to clothing that reminds you of who you used to be, and you still might want to wear it again. So don't be afraid of just noticing that your clothes fall into different categories, and teach. This is a great thing. Notice we were talking about calming down, chunking down, and all this. This is chunking down. Looking at all of your clothing all over the place can be overwhelming. The opposite of overwhelm, chunk it down into a category. Chunk and category, they have the same name. I love that. Or the same beginning letter. Okay? What you're going to notice is how you think about your clothes makes you feel a certain way. And not just your clothes as a general thing, but one specific item of clothing. You have a story behind that dress in your closet. It makes you feel a certain feeling. It tells a certain story. And depending upon that story and feeling, you may be okay with letting it go and selling it or donating it, or you may still want to hang on to it. And I was using that kind of jerky hanging on motion right here, but you can decide, I still want to keep that. So it's decision making. But notice that, and this is the only way you can access these stories. Everything is telling you a story in your closet, every single thing, but it's like a busy cocktail party. Everybody's talking at me. I can hear a word they're saying, right? However, pulling out one piece of clothing or a category of clothing. These are all the clothes that I used to wear when I worked in a corporate environment. That is a category. Then you say, do I wear these now? No. Do I want to wear them in the future? For me, that's a hell no. Boom. A hell no makes it wicked easy to put in a bag and donate. But hey, here's something I used to wear when I used to go to tiki events. Oh yeah. Do I still want to wear those in the future? Yeah, I wouldn't mind going to some vintage events. That'd be fun. Okay, I'm going to keep that stuff. Notice decisions, thoughts, feelings, deciding whether to let it go or hold on to it. But instead of holding on to it with like a knee-jerk kind of reaction, I am holding on to it with feeling good about it. Decluttering is decision making. And it's hard to make decisions sometimes on an abundance of stuff, so chunk it down. One thing at a time. As it says on my mug that I do not sell, every little bit helps. Even one item into a donation bag is one item less of clutter that you have in your house. So you have tipped the scales. If you had 10,000 pieces of clutter in your house today, now you only have 9,999. So you have legitimately, objectively decreased the amount of clutter in your house. Now, whether you bring in more stuff after you drop off the stuff and go back into the place you're donating it to, like I did for years, well, that's another story. Okay? So Nancy is saying, I am diabetic. I have so many supplies, too much. So notice that visual and inert feeling of the just right amount and the too much amount. So you notice you have too much. You used to be organized, but hard to get around to clean. Okay, and you have walking issues, hard to get around. Here's the wonderful thing, okay? Here's the wonderful thing, you guys, and many of you will be like, wait, what? Decluttering happens in your head and in your heart before you ever even move your body. Yeah, I think I just got my hair all wonky. Let me repeat that. You declutter in your head and you declutter in your heart before you ever have to move your body. And here's the great thing, and this is where I shift from being maybe I shift into almost like being at a job, okay? Because your head and your heart are really what drive everything. When it comes to moving your hands, I think of sometimes like somebody who is using one of those like earth movers. You know, there's somebody behind the wheel steering it, and it's not like the claw machine or whatever. I didn't describe that well, but I'm trying. What I mean to say is when you have decided what you want to do with something, you can get help moving the physical items from somebody else. You can get help from somebody else moving the things that you've decided that are too many, where they go. Now, many of us have been taught and raised to not ask for help. Many of us have been taught and raised that it's a woman's work, that the woman in the house is the one who has to keep track of it. I call bullshit on both counts, because decluttering is a life skill that benefits everybody on the planet. To be able to listen to yourself and say, what do I want and what do I not want, and do something about it, you'd want to teach your kids that. Notice that our society and possibly your home is constructed in the way that benefits some people more than others. I come to realign that, to say that everybody who lives in a house needs to participate in the mutually beneficial task of decluttering and maintaining a decluttered home. I don't care how old you are. You can declutter to a certain amount. And this is a skill that you and I did not learn when we were kids. So if you people have kids, it would behoove you to teach them this. Okay? So, and what I want to offer to that is, even if you live alone, there is still help. There are friends. There are neighbors. There are people you can pay to come in and help you with stuff. There are volunteers. You are not alone, and you don't have to do this alone. Okay? Yeah. And Strength and Peace, I just saw you think about the Beatles book. I didn't mention it because I don't remember the name of it. But on a future YouTube video, I'll tell you. Okay. So just notice. Another thing, and Judy was saying, I've gotten so much done during the parties, and when stuck, Beth gives ideas on how to move forward. So notice, Judy, without the declutter party, was feeling alone and got stuck, and kind of like gets stuck in the mud driving alone. But when you're with a group of people, I took a road trip from Chicago to LA on this road called Route 66 a number of years ago. I wasn't alone. I had my pack with me. I called it the pack. And when somebody would get stuck or needed to get gas, we all pulled over and we all waited and helped out. If somebody got a flat tire, you would help. So you are not alone in this. There's somebody at the front door. I think it was just my husband. You are not alone. Okay? And I am here to remind you of that, and also to keep you company while you declutter during the declutter parties. Heck, even when I do these TikTok lives and YouTube lives, people go around in what I like to call putter and declutter, because you do not need to see. Do you notice I will occasionally point to things, but you don't miss a lot if you don't see my hands kind of flailing around. It's just what helps me talk. My body likes to coach too, so my body wants it to get involved, okay? Technologia, right? But it's the words that I say that bump up against the words in your head and cause you to feel a feeling. Maybe it's a feeling of laughter when I talk about Channel 56. Or maybe if it's, that sounds like my parents. Or maybe it's me just encouraging you to say, even if you've never known how to do this before, I can teach you and you can learn this. You're no dumb bunny, and bunnies aren't even dumb. Okay? So just notice this. Now, Pamela is mentioning, and I'm just kind of bopping around in the comments here. We've got about 29 minutes left. Sentimental, holding on to parents' wallets. Dad been gone 25 years and mom 14 years. I just can't. Okay, so don't. So don't. It's okay. Think about the amount of space that you would gain in your house if you went through the torturous feeling of throwing away their wallet. My husband, we just decluttered some of his parents' stuff. They have been gone for 18 years. We found his dad's wallet. What we did, though, which might help you, I'll just offer you, is we kind of took it apart. We chunked it down. We pulled the things out and looked at it. And we noticed that some of the things were worth saving and some of them weren't. Some of them were literally like coupons, for expired coupons. And, his, service merchandise card or something very random, that it was okay to let go of certain chunks and other things we wanted to keep. But it's okay to be sentimental. If you weren't, that would mean you're a robot, and I don't like to hang out with robotic people. I like to hang out with people who feel feelings, because that means you're human and you're experiencing all that humanity has to offer, which is also feeling feelings. And some feelings are wonderful and some are not so good, but it's a rainbow. It's like Skittles. Taste the rainbow, So notice that. It's okay to hang on to the things that give you feelings. But I say this, don't hang on to something that makes you feel like crap. Do not hang on to something because of guilt or fear. Let go of the things that tell you bad stories. But if it tells you a good story, if it helps you remember somebody who's gone, then it's just a matter of how much of their stuff, how many souvenirs do you need to remind you that you had parents? I haven't even counted what I have. But when does it feel like too much, not enough, or just right? I have just the right amount of items in my life that remind me of my dad who passed in 2010. I will never forget him. And there are other ways I remember him. A smell, a look, a sound, out in the world. I get choked up even thinking about it. I truly do. I can totally feel it in my heart right now. So I don't need the things, but do I have stuff? Yeah. Yeah, I'm even looking right now. There was something. I'm sure there's something. I know there's stuff outside. Okay? It's okay to be sentimental. Okay? Yeah, blood type reset, service merchandise, I know. So notice, okay, so user 52249 with bloody blop says, trying to declutter and sell a house, very difficult to move. Okay, I love this because you have a wonderful opportunity to turn wherever you're moving. I don't care if it's a move because you want to or you have to. You can decide to create your Barbie dream house when you move. You can decide the stuff you want to bring with you. How would you decorate your Barbie dream house? How would you not decorate your Barbie dream house? You do not have to replicate the place you live right now into your new space. Use this juncture as an opportunity, an excuse, a reason to switch gears and offload the stuff that you've just been dragging around with you that's making you heavy. Okay? Think about that. Look forward to. That's why coaching to me is always in the driver's seat, looking ahead and forward. Because there's a difference. I'm looking ahead to something I'm not too psyched about. How can you start to look forward to it? I'm looking forward to it. Notice forward is a bit of a leaning in and a being kind of excited about this new opportunity. Okay? And one of the things that came up here that is going to be calming down your nervous system and chunking down what you're doing. Don't try to do it all at once. Now, here's a funny thing. Let's try to do this and not drop my phone like the last time I did it. So you guys see right there? See all this shit? That's usually not there, just so you know. However, we are getting the floor in our basement redone, and every single goddamn item in our basement, 1,500 square foot basement, we've lived here for 20 years. It was the least cluttered it had ever been pretty much since we moved in, and yet we still have a bunch of stuff that goes down the basement. So I say this to you as just transparency that I am not perfect, nor do I pretend to be or care to be. But we have stuff that's saved. It is temporarily here, but I bring this up because I want our basement to be transformed into our Barbie basement. I said to my husband, I want to take it low and slow and really decide. We did a declutter. We did a declutter when we brought stuff up. There were many things that we let go of. Sorry, And yet, when we put things downstairs, there's another opportunity to say, do we really need to bring this downstairs? Now, I say 90% of the stuff down the basement is my husband's. I will help him through this process to the extent that he will allow me to. But even the stuff he says, even if he wants to keep all of it, I want to make sure that it looks good and it functions well, that it doesn't look messy, it looks less messy down there than it did, and that he can easily find what he's looking for, because a lot of it is his musical stuff. Okay? Yeah, I love this. Notice Leslie is saying, categories, great advice. The closet is open now and I'm getting curious and down to business. And notice, I think I avoid decisions. So this is where you chunk it down again. And you can practice, when you avoid something, it's something you're afraid of doing. So how can you do it really slow and small, but just start making decisions? And the great thing is decluttering. A lot of it is the easy decisions of surface clutter and stored clutter. There are going to be easy decisions. So start making the decisions, asking yourself, what do I want? And you say, yes, I want this. No, I don't want that. Start small, but just start. Okay? Now I love it. I'm catching up on stuff, so I'm a bit tardy to the party because I'm trying to get to everybody's comments. And sometimes it's not just a flip quick answer. Guilt. Guilt is on the side of fear. If I was to draw a line, and I like to do it literally because it's on the one hand and on the other hand, everybody, what is this? Bilateral symmetry of the human body? So use it. On the one hand, you have an unhelpful voice in your head, a voice like No Limits, a voice of her mother saying, who has money to buy new things? Makes her feel guilty, makes her feel like, ugh. And then she hangs on to something, right? But much like your body, there is another hand. Apologies to those of you who only have one hand, but you get what I'm saying. There's another side to the story. There's a flip side to the record. There's a flip side, like Davy Jones and Marsha Brady. Remember that episode? Okay, there is always a flip side. And the opposite of your mom's guilt is you saying, me, I have money to buy new things. Or, I don't have money to buy new things, but it doesn't help me to hang on to something I don't want or need or use. But notice, your backseat driver, that unhelpful voice of fear, has nothing to do with you, and it has everything to do with your mother and her fear. So just notice. Put some distance between you, saying that's not even my voice in my head. That's somebody else's voice in your head. The true voice in your head, to me, and I'm not religious, but this is where I get a little bit woo-woo, is what I call your co-pilot voice. Now, I try to show up in service of the co-pilot voice. What do I mean by that? Think about in your car. Who do you want next to you who do you want to listen to on a road trip? Somebody who's saying, no, we can't do it. We're doomed. Don't do it. We're doomed. This is never going to work. Slow down. Stop. Don't do that. Do this. Do you want to be on a road trip with that person in the back seat? No. Well, they're going to be in the back seat, so we just quiet them down lovingly, like a scared little kid in a car seat. However, you know who you would benefit from because you're not doing this alone? Your co-pilot. Now, many years ago, I've been in probably one of those Route 66 gift shops I went into, would have one of those like vanity license plates that said, God is my co-pilot. So if you're a God type person and you want to think of it, the Holy Spirit, whatever, God, your soul, an angel, I call it the universe. I call it the co-pilot because it's like your best friend next to you on a road trip. The person who says, I can help you get there. You got this. You can get it. If you decide where you want to go, I can help you get there. I have the snacks. I get the map. I get the tunes. We're going to have fun. I'm going to remind you to pull over and take a stretch and go pee and take a nap. And then we're going to get back on the road because this is a journey. This is not a one and done. So I offer this to you, like when you hear that unhelpful voice, just even get curious. Where did I hear that before? Was that something that came from me organically, or did somebody else put their words in my head? You're too fat. You're too old. You'll never get this. You're not as talented as your brother. You know, I'm not blaming it all on the moms. No, it can come from society. It can come from many places. But just notice if the backseat driver, if you have just started to imitate words you heard before. Okay? Now, I love it. I'm just catching up with some things. Penny is saying, guys, I went to the attic to put something away and made a pact to declutter something every time. Yeah, make a game of it. To me, it's a pact, it's a game. Every time I go into that room, I bring something out to declutter, right? Now, Laura Gibbon Voorhees says, I am terrible at asking for help, but when somebody told me that asking for help gives an opportunity for the other person to feel good about helping you, that made it easier for me to ask for help. So notice that dynamic of it's easier for me to do something for somebody else versus why don't I feel comfortable asking for something for myself? Now, many roads lead to Rome, so if it makes you feel better and it does get you practicing asking for help under the guise of helping somebody else, sure. But I would just get curious, why do I have such a hard time asking for help? Now, I was a latchkey kid for a number of years growing up, and I had very independent parents. I'm the parentified oldest daughter of a fourth generation parentified oldest daughter and an oldest only boy. So my parents were definitely their own people. So I was left with, here's the key, figure it out yourself. Even if I wanted to ask for help, there wasn't help around. So I know where I come from, and I have gotten better at asking for help. And it is a skill. And if you don't use it, it gets smaller. Okay? No, I love this. Strength and Peace says, what helped me a lot is when you said to sit down, breathe down, calm down. Yes. Anytime you start anything, even the day, even throughout the day, if you start to feel overwhelmed, stressed out, dysregulated, as they say in the life coaching biz, notice that feeling and start to slow down your car, your metaphorical car. Slow down, calm down, sit down, drink down some water. Breathe down. This will help reset your internalness and you'll feel better. And what happens when you do this is you're saying it's okay. You're okay. Here. It's like quieting down a stressed out little kid in the back seat when really nothing is going wrong. They're just freaking out. Maybe what you just need is a nap and a snack. There's nothing wrong with a nap and a snack. I have often had to tell myself, even as a successful coach helping other people, I have to coach myself to say, nothing's wrong here. I think I'm just tired. My body is just tired. So if I take a nap and I wake up, I feel better. Okay? Bloop. All right. Here we go. I'm catching up. This is good. All right. Leslie just chose a category. Jackets. I'm almost done. Decluttering parties to do the same thing. Get us unstuck. Yeah. I love it. Yeah. Avoiding decisions is analysis paralysis. And avoiding something just makes you not good at it. I know this because I have avoided things in my life. Many times in my life. That's how I learned to avoid things, to not deal with them head on, to not practice doing the thing you're afraid of, but to pivot and go this way and that way as opposed to that way. But if you want to move forward, you can't pivot left or right. You have to practice moving forward. Okay? Yeah. Now, Lake Place says, I am so deeply upset today and so appreciative of your voice. You have this voice in you too. It's kind of funny because I speak in the voice of my co-pilot, but I think all of our co-pilots, all the souls, all the internal voices who just love us so freaking much, they just want us to get what we want in life, they all have the same vocabulary. So do the backseat drivers. Fear and shame and judgment and anger and all that stuff, they draw from those words. I draw from love and curiosity and compassion and patience and understanding. Literally, and again, I grew up Catholic, but I'm not religious, but think of Jesus Christ, and not just because when you stub your toe, but think of how he showed up in the world, the words he used, and how he would be labeled a heretic, or he would be labeled mean, judgingly by people who want to be otherwise, right? So what I offer to you, Lake Place, the reason I say this is sometimes people are unfamiliar with the fact that they have this backseat, this voice in yourself, but I want to reassure you. Even just imitate me. Quiet down the backseat driver. Hush, hush, shh. And then start to imitate me. Use the words I use. Feel free to use them. I don't gatekeep a damn thing. Start to talk to yourself in a nice, loving, kind way. And calm down your nervous system. Quiet down. And then replace the flip side. If you're saying you're too old, you say, I'm the youngest I'll ever be right now. You can pivot. Right. As Penny says. Yeah. Okay. So what I offer to all of y'all, including myself, is we all have this in us. We got the music in me. I got the music in me. You have yourself in the driver's seat at all times. You are in the driver's seat of the car at all times. But you are not alone, because you were influenced by the voices in your head, the words in your head. Words, they're just words. Now I say just words, but we know words can hurt. Sticks and stones can break my bones, but names can never hurt me. Oh, hell they can. Yeah, you call somebody a big fat meanie, and in a fat shaming society, that can make you feel bad. In a voluptuous society, being called a skinny mini may be a bad thing. You know? Words in your head come from two places. This is the way I describe it to myself, which has helped me. So I share it with you as a friend. I am in the driver's seat, but I have a choice of listening to two stations on the radio or two voices in my head. I choose. They both exist. I choose which one I listen to and which one I quiet down. And I have learned that I feel so much better and do so much better and am so much better for the world when I quiet down my own fearful backseat drivers and I give the microphone to. I turn up the volume and allow my co-pilot to speak, which is love and problem solving and fun and patience, and you got this, because life is a road trip. You're meant to do good things on this road trip. Okay? So I just want to share that with you. If this sounds great to you, sign up for my mailing list, yada yada. But when I'm speaking, and notice I'm speaking, that it quiets down my backseat drivers and yours. And notice how it feels right now to have listened for a while, to be in an environment that is quieting down the fear and turning up the volume on the songs of possibility and love and encouragement, and that you can do it. That's the main thing. I don't want to just rev you up and be like, yeah, this is great. You can get into gear and you can start doing the decluttering yourself. Hopefully you learned something in the last, frankly, almost 2 hours that I've been here. Okay? And if you haven't, I show up more. I'm showing up tomorrow. We have declutter parties on Saturday and Sunday, and then I'm going to check the thing right now. Just signing up for the mailing list. You get the schedule of when I'm showing up, and you'll know when not to look for me because I won't be showing up. Like literally next Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I am what I call off the digital grid, meaning I will not be showing up on TikTok, on YouTube, or anything. I let you know that so you don't have to worry, oh, maybe I missed the show, maybe I missed it. Yeah, no. But you know, if you have a hankering for, man, I could use a little Destination Decluttered pick-me-up, you go to the YouTube channel, and there are almost 700 videos you can choose from. Damn it, Donna. Sorry I'll miss it, but you know, you don't have to be sorry because you're going with your second daughter to get her wedding dress? Awesome. I love that. I love that. And here's another thing too, people, just to set expectations. My goal is to decrease the amount of time that you're spending decluttering and making it so simple for you to live in a decluttered home so that you have the maximum amount of time in your life to do the things that light you up, to do the things you want to do, and make what you have to do take a minimal amount of not only time, but also energy. I am an efficiency expert like nobody's business. I want to maximize the fun. I want to turn up the fun. I want there to be, in the hours of your day that you've scheduled, I want there to be acres of time on your schedule to do whatever the fuck you want to do. And whatever you want to do is up to you. And it can be different every day. But I want to make sure that you have time and energy in your life every day to do something that lights you up. Okay? That's what I'm all about, Charlie Brown. And I will continue doing this until one day I decide not to because I'm doing something else. All right? So strike while the iron is hot, as the old-timey people in my family would say. If I'm not going to be around for forever, know that, because I won't be. I'm telling you right now, I will not be doing what I'm doing forever. I will do it until it no longer becomes fun or whatever. So grab this opportunity to hang out with me and let me help you. Let me be the help that helps you learn the skills to do the things, so even when I'm gone, these skills are something that you continue to use for. Yeah, now looking at user 1963 says, I am realizing that my clutter is like an albatross around my neck. Yes, notice how even if it physically isn't on you, mentally it can feel like all of the clutter is on your body and weighing you down. An albatross, oh my God, I just heard my back crack. That felt good. Because I've been sitting here for a while, you know, as soon as I get off of this, I'm going to be walking around and stretching. Notice how your clutter affects your physical health. Notice how your clutter affects your mental health. Notice how your clutter affects your personal relationships, how it affects your money, how it affects your career, how it affects your energy, how you spend your time. Your clutter is not just about making it look good in case Martha Stewart shows up and wants to do a photo shoot. No. It's about you feeling good about how your home looks on the surface. It's about you, with your stored stuff, saying that I have the right amount for me. I have the right quantity and quality for me, so it feels good. And that the sentimental stuff that I have is the right quantity and quality for me, and it makes me feel good. Okay? Irma, I love that you're letting us know that you're taking your sister to get groceries. Awesome. I hope this has been helpful this past almost 2 hours on TikTok. Since it's the beginning of the month, I have decided, because I love it, because I can decide anything I want, because I work for myself, I have decided that I will start to do more TikTok lives again. But the only reason I do these, frankly, is because I want to get the word out to new people. So I encourage you that if you are new to what I do and you like what you heard, I will be showing up and doing more TikTok lives. If you want to know when they are, hop on my free mailing list, destinationdecluttered.com. Then you have access to a secret page on the internet that gives you so many free things, including the schedule of the TikTok lives and the YouTube lives. Now, the cool thing is about the YouTube lives, not as many people show up to them. So if you really want to get into it and kind of get basically some free one-on-one coaching, you show up to the YouTube lives too. Those are also scheduled. Yeah. Now, that's interesting. User 1963 says, I have a hard time to find you on YouTube lives. That's interesting to me because there's a TV guide there. But notice, many of us are more comfortable with one platform than the other. Who knows? TikTok could go by in a hot minute. But since, it's the beginning of a new month, sure, why not? Okay? So TikTok lives. But I'm really only showing up to encourage you to then take action, to do something, to put a verb in front of whatever's on your to-do list and to chunk it down so you can get started doing the things you want to do, and even the things you've been avoiding, you can start to do them and realize they're not as bad as you think. It is not as scary as you think to declutter. Do not be afraid of decluttering. Do not be afraid of it. Be not afraid. Oh my God, I'm getting so like churchy lately. Wicked weird. Do not be afraid of clutter. There are plenty of things to be afraid of, but even then, it's better to be in a place of power and not fear to change the things that are frightening you right now. Okay? I love it. I love it. Lorraine's got a brand new notebook. I've got a brand new pair of roller skates, and you've got a brand new key. All right? So, we got 3 minutes. Il says, I lost 60 pounds and I'm scared to let go of my clothes. So notice the scared. Notice fear is always going to be where I want to say, look for the fear. What are you afraid of? And what are you afraid of? You're scared to let go of my clothes because ... You know? Notice that fear has you hanging on to things. Now, I'm not going to say, get over your fear, tough it up, buttercup. Bah! No, that's not how I do it. But I will say, notice the fear, understand it better, and then from a place of understanding, you can make a better decision. Now, oftentimes, I know that people who have lost weight keep their fat clothes because they are afraid that the new person is only temporary, and they're afraid they're going to gain the clothes, the weight back, and then they will be afraid of having to buy new, larger clothes. Okay, so how about this? Give yourself an opportunity to not be so afraid that you're going to gain the weight back, but instead of having that category of big clothes in your closet with the rest of them, categorize them and pull them out and put them in a tote, just like seasonal clothes. That's my fat clothes season, and that's what I call them, my fat clothes. Put them away, label them with the date and what's in them so you know that you have them if you need them to calm down the fear. But also, when you get them out of circulation, you will be in the habit of wearing smaller clothing. Hopefully, too, much like losing weight and decluttering, very similar. Knocking down the pounds, but if all you do is be on a diet, and then you get there and you stop, and then you go back to your old eating habits and exercising habits, you'll put on more weight, just like clutter. If all you do is focus on getting rid of, but you don't change the habits that got you there, it is going to be very difficult to then maintain a decluttered home, maintain a smaller body if you go back to the habits that got you there. Okay? So just notice that. And Wanderlust Girl says, I'm a military family and I declutter every move. I love that you have the opportunity to do that. I want to do more, but I think I've done all I can. Okay, so notice where there's a little bit of tension between wanting to do more and then thinking you've done all you can. That's when you want to just chunk things down and get very specific. Looking at things and saying, is that clutter? Could I imagine living without it? Or could I let go of that or no? Just check yourself, you know? 80 pounds down. I love it, Therapy Gal Sue. I'm in the process of losing too with 80 down. I've packed mine up and labeled. And I'll donate it in the fall. Love it. Okay, so you guys, it is now hit 11 o'clock. Boom, it actually just hit 11:01. But I'm going to wrap up right now. I will be here again. Sherry Cooper is saying thank you all for being here. Yeah, notice there's over 100 people here. You are not alone. If you have clutter and you kind of don't know what to do with it, that's okay. That's why I show up, to let you know what to do with it, to help you learn what to do with it. Okay? What I ask for you, though, is I want to be in touch with the people who are interested in this. So if you like this and you only want to find me randomly, that's cool. Just find me randomly. But if you want to know when to show up the next time I'm on YouTube or TikTok, sign up for my mailing list so you can access the free TV guide page. It's wicked easy. DestinationDecluttered.com is my website. And there's a form at the bottom where all you have to do is put on your email address and prove you're not a robot. Boom, you're in. Okay? I'm going to have a good day. I hope you are too. And I will see you the next time I am on The Muppet Show. Okay? I can't even remember how to shut it off right now. I think I do this. It's been a while since I did a declare. Okay, yep. And now I think I do this. And thank you everybody for joining me. And sign up for the mailing list. Okay?